I've done a lot. God knows I've tried to find the truth. I've even lied. And all I know is down inside I'm bleeding. I wonder if Marvel's going to sue us for me using that.
Da, 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 da.
Well, if this video doesn't pop up, you know that it got pulled down.
Okay. I didn't, like you'd mentioned that song was cut at the end, and I watched it and I didn't think about it. But then, like earlier, you were sitting down saying like, "Oh, but it's not in there because Marvel bought it," and only when you're doing it there, I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I know what it is." So let's do it once, and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah. So we'll get into that bit of minutia there. Sorry, I love that song, even though it's like 2 seconds. But welcome.
Howdy.
He's Nick.
And he's Lance.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's known as Magenta, and I'm Riff Raff. Sure. Welcome to another episode of Have You Seen? With Nick and Lance.
Yep.
This week was my turn to ask Nick to watch something.
Yes.
And I said, Nick, have you seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
And I had never seen it.
And now,
I think I knew like a song, so I went into it knowing one of the songs, and that's it.
got it.
And that Tim Curry was in it.
What song?
Time Warp.
Really? You hadn't heard Sweet Transvestite before?
No, I think I'd heard like the line
Got it.
in one of the AMV Hells. Do you remember AMV Hell?
I do.
I think one of the clips they cut to was someone going, "I'm just a sweet transvestite,"
I think I know exactly
and
what
then
you're
it like
talking
cut to
about.
something else, and I'm like, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, no, I think I know exactly when I think it was the AMV Hell 3.
Yeah, one of
It
them.
was one of the long ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome to the potty, pal.
Yes, I have now seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the way it was meant to be seen. Me lying in my bed watching it on an iPad by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
You watch it on an iPad?
Yeah, because it was on. I tend to do that because like my TV's across the room and the TV's like this big. When I watch my iPad next to me, it's like this big,
Oh,
and it's also got 4 speakers on it, so it actually has decent sound.
okay. Got it.
So I think it works fine. Take that. What was it?
Scorsese?
Yeah, it's either one like if you watch your phone on a movie, you're doing it, or watch your movie on a
It
phone.
wasn't
fucking around.
Scorsese. It was the guy who does oh god. It was the dude who did the Agent Dale Cooper stuff. Oh, why am I blanking on his name right now?
Not that important. Just
Twin
to-
Peaks.
Okay.
David Lynch.
Okay, David Lynch.
Yes.
For just me to say like, I mean, I didn't watch it on something that was this small. It's
Watching
this-
a movie on your fucking phone.
Yeah, the screen is as big as my TV when it is this close to me. Actually, it's slightly bigger than my TV.
I mean, whenever I remember watching watching a movie on your fucking phone, get out of here. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, so
Your
watch it.
movies are mildly entertaining at best. If you like weird shit, don't get me wrong, you put out some good stuff, but get out your own ass.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wants to watch a fucking movie on a phone, let them watch a movie on a phone. Anyways,
Yeah.
so this is the part where we're going to give our ratings of
Yep.
what we think of the movie, and then after that, we're going into spoilers.
Yes.
So, and this is probably not going to be a long one. I'm just getting a bweep that this might not be a long video.
Oh,
So,
you got your Peter Tingle.
yes, I'm getting my Peter tingle. So, Nick,
Yes.
if you had to give Rocky Horror Picture Show a rating of 0 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
what would you give it?
At about a 4. Look at that, you nailed it.
So,
And it was for the music.
yeah. Well, that's the best part.
Yes.
So,
Because I mean, the rest of it's like whatever.
yeah, okay, we'll get into it.
Yes,
So,
we'll get into it. So, Lance, what would you give it?
So, Rocky Horror Picture Show was something that I was brought into when I was little. Rocky Horror Picture Show was not a thing that you were supposed to watch. Because my brother used to drive to the theaters where they would do the acting out of...
And people go in costumes and whatnot.
yes, and he would beat those people up. And I remember one time he was watching me, and I was pulled out. I was young. I was a kid. And he took me with him because he was basically supposed to be watching me. And I remember watching him do that. And I remember that stuck in my mind because that's the first time I'd ever really been introduced to some kind of violence like that. Just because it was not hate. It was just hate.
Yeah.
And I remember it stuck out.
The first exposure to violence is hate crimes.
Yeah. So, and then when I was around 12, someone talked to me about it where they were in a group that did the acting and they were doing dubs of like Dirty Pair anime. And just he suggested I watch it. And I watched it and I was like, what did I just watch? Then I went back and watched it a few more times. The songs are great. I loved Magenta. I loved Little Nell. Columbia is just, oh my God, I love her.
Which was Little Nell?
Little Nell's Columbia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was a little redhead.
The actress, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would give this movie, oh my God, I've seen it at least 100 times. And I've also watched Shock Treatment.
I'd give it a 2.
The lesser known movie, the continuing adventures of Brad and Janet.
Okay.
I'd give it an 8. Bam, kid's good. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's weird, it's quirky, but the music's fantastic. Tim Curry is fucking awesome. Just in everything he's in. The only movie I've never liked Tim Curry in. The only movie I didn't like that Tim Curry was in was Congo.
And I like that movie.
See, I thought it was bad. I just thought it was.
But was
so
it bad because you went in expecting Bruce Campbell to be in it and he wasn't?
Because Amy was a bad monkey.
Amy, good monkey.
She's bad monkey.
Amy, good monkey.
No, like
But like Tim Curry was good in that one too, with the Lost City of Zinj.
Yeah, but then they took him out like right near the middle as well, didn't they?
Nope.
No.
He made it to the end.
It was still
when
bad.
he wanted the big fucking diamonds, and in getting the big fucking diamonds, he got beat up by monkeys. Spoiler for Congo.
Yeah. Sorry.
No one watched that movie.
Amy's a bad monkey.
Amy, good monkey.
Bad. Anyways.
And the joke Tim and I would always do: Amy, good monkey.
Good monkey.
Good monkey.
So we're going into spoiler territory now.
Yes. So if you've not seen, or if you don't want spoilers for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, now's your chance to reach for the remote and press back.
Yes.
But I mean, even if you haven't seen it, I don't think us talking about the plot's going to make a difference.
No.
Because
it's weird.
The plot's nonsense.
Yeah, it was an excuse for friends to get together and do musical theater.
It seems like spoilers. The plot seems like it is references to old 50s, 60s movies, loosely connected together with some sort of it's not even connected by a story. Well, it's just kind of these skits songs connected to each other.
Yeah.
In whatever sort of means they happen to go through, because I mean some of them are pretty fucking whatever.
Oh. It's supposed to be like an old school drive-in movie, is what they were going for, but it's unlike anything that you've ever seen before because it was like taboo content.
I mean, the opening song promised me a double feature, and it was not a double feature.
A science fiction double feature.
And it was not a science
Picture
fiction double
show.
feature. It was one movie.
I want to go. Oh, please don't get me saying. Anyways. Yeah, so here we are. Welcome back.
Yep.
So, yes, I will agree with you. The plot of the movie is pretty nonsensical, but it's like the movie is very self-aware that the plot is very nonsensical.
Yeah, the movie's not about the plot.
Yeah,
the movie's about the music and the costume and the dancing and whatnot.
And it also sticks out the fact to me that what seemed like it was the highest budget song in the movie was Eddie's song. Mm-hmm. So, because it was Meatloaf. So they
was he well known at that time?
I think at that point he was pretty well known. I think he had already had Dashboard Light out at that point. I could be wrong.
That was like Tim Curry's first movie. He was in the stage show, right? But
yes.
So they brought him over, but that was like his first movie.
So I don't know Rocky Horror to the extent that I'd be able to tell you everything that happened in the stage show, or that even if the stage show is exactly what went on film. Yeah, as far as I know, it is.
Okay.
Now, I think that Meatloaf was in the original stage show. Probably not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
a lot of my knowledge of this extends to me watching the movie and then reading IMDb. And them saying like Brad and Janet were the only Americans recast or whatever. And then they said everyone else was the same, but I wonder how the same was it really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I know that without looking at it, I know that, and I'm gonna do my best because, like I said, I also watch a lot. I also watch Shock Treatment, which was the next movie, and they changed Brad and Janet in between. So sometimes I get the names mixed up. So it's Barry Bostwick, Susan Sarandon as Brad and Janet. You have Richard O'Brien as Riff Raff, Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenfurter. You have Little Nell as Columbia. You have Patricia Quinn as Magenta. Charles Gray was the announcer. He was the narrator.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of Dr. Scott. So I'll look it up. I think I think it might be Richard something. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm trying to do most of this from knowledge so I can show that I am a fan of this.
I read on IMDb that now the common thing is to have Dr. Scott and Eddie be the same actor so that you can tell that they're related.
Really? Yeah, okay.
So I guess on the stage show nowadays they're the same. So if it was in the movie, Dr. Scott should have been Meatloaf.
Yeah, well, so I think I touched with you briefly before we started this that I had also watched the new Fox production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I didn't like it. What I did like about it is they made Tim Curry the narrator. They made him the Charles Gray.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty good. So let's see. So you had Barry Bostwick, Richard O'Brien, Patricia Quinn, Nell Campbell. So the Dr. Scott
Nell
was
Campbell. You mean Little Nell?
Yeah, well, Little Nell, but her name is Nell Campbell. But I think she just goes by Little Nell.
Okay.
You had
I guess I was thinking Nev Campbell. Did you say Nev Campbell? Wasn't she? I know what you did last summer.
Yes. No, not the same person.
Yeah.
Far and away. Jonathan Adams is Dr. Scott. Then the worst part of the movie, you have Peter Hinwood as Rocky. He's terrible. Meatloaf is Eddie. Charles Gray is the criminologist.
Well, I don't think Rocky was meant to be a big acting part.
No, but I also think that it might have been a different person. I remember hearing a story, like I watched some of the behind the scenes stuff, but I didn't pay a whole hell of a lot of attention because the biggest thing I like in Rocky Horror is the music. I love the songs. I'd be lying to you if I'm like, oh man, the movie is so engaging and it really holds my interest. No, that's not. It's got funny, quirky parts to it. And the most fun is the music. But like, it's a lot of fun actually going to one of the live events because I had been watching this movie by myself pretty much since I was 12 years old. The first time I watched it was when I was 12, and I had to watch it kind of like in secret because, like I said, my brother.
Yeah.
Now my brother is a good person. He's no longer with us, but my brother is a good person. But he's like any other person
He's got his demons.
Yeah, he's like any other person back in the day. He's got his demons and. You were expected to act a certain way back then because people were like super, super being repressed.
Which I think is why this movie kind of took off.
Yes.
Is its representation for a bunch of people.
Yes. This is the... So, I had never been to a live play, and I just decided, fuck it. They had one of the live shows at Cinepar.
Okay.
So I went by myself and sat through it. And it was weird.
Yep.
It was weird because
I believe that
because you had the actors like coming up to you like, you've been caught with a flat. Well, how about that? And I'm just like, okay,
stop watching me.
Yeah, and they're playing the movie in the background at the same time, but like doing a toast and throwing toast and you know throwing the rice at the wedding scene. That's all fun. It's a lot of fun to be a part of that. That said, if you ever get a chance to go see The Room and you have people who know the beats in that movie is fucking hilarious. So much fun. Those dudes made that movie. You had, let's see, Jeremy Newsom as Ralph Hapschatt, Betty Monroe. Those don't become important until you get to the next movie. And then there's just a bunch of people that...
Let's say like all the Transylvanians or whatever.
Yeah, the viewers, the spectators. Transylvanian A, Transylvanian A, Transylvanian... So, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's one of those flicks that literally when it comes on, I have to watch it. Like I have to sit and watch it because like all the music is so good. I'm gonna guess that the music is the one thing that really caught you, but otherwise,
Yeah, the rest of it's whatever. I was bored in parts, just kind of waiting for, and then even like all the songs that didn't necessarily connect with me. Like I said, I went in knowing Time Warp, so like when that one came up, I'm like, okay, I like the song. I think the only other song in it that I have listened to a couple times in the last couple of days is Meatloaf's "The Hot Patootie Bless My Soul."
Gotta love that rock and roll. Yeah, it's a good song.
I like that one, and the rest of them, yeah, some are okay, sung well. I mean, done okay. They just don't connect with me. I guess I like the bouncy stuff a little bit more, whereas Time Warp's a bit bouncy. Bless My Soul is a bit more bouncy and kind of like rockish, a bit like old school rock, like 60s rock, whatever, which I kind of like that too.
Well, it's so, yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. Like, on the day I went away, like this rock or Dr. Frankenfurter song when they're going back to Transylvania. Like, I like that song. I've seen blue skies through the tears in my eyes. I fucking love that song too because it's very heartfelt and it's very.
And then he gets murdered.
Yes. I'm sorry. When I said we were going back to Transylvania, I meant Magenta and myself. Yeah, it's all the music in the movie is good. The only song I did not like is "Sword of Damocles" that was sung by Rocky. The sword of Damocles is hanging over my head, and I've got the feeling someone's going to be cutting the thread. He's such a bad singer.
Again, I don't think he was there to sing.
Eye candy. I think, from what I heard, they had a guy that could sing really well, but was not built for the stage play, and then they got the guy that was like super built, but could not sing for the movie. And I guess I don't know why they couldn't just like dub in another voice, or maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know all the tiny minutia. All I know is it's a movie that I like, but it's not to the point where I have to go and gorge myself on like all of the small bits.
I guess one of the things I did like was after Dr. Frankenfurter made Rocky, and he asked like Janet, what do you think of him? She's like, he's a bit too muscly for my taste. He's like, I didn't make him for you.
Yeah.
It's like, don't ask my opinion then, bitch.
Well, what do you think of him? He's okay. Okay. Yeah. It's there's so many great parts in that flick. What I liked, one of my favorite parts, and I didn't catch it when I was younger, but when Frankenfurter was acting as Brad and Janet to go sleep with Brad and Janet, and he went in as Janet and was like, oh, Brad, there's so many things, and like the terrible people, and he's like, oh, Janet, come, wait, it's you, and he's like, yes, but isn't it nice? And like, when he did the whole thing where it's like, master, you need to come, and he was like, coming home, and goes back down on Brad, and you see Brad's feet come off the bed. Like, that, I didn't catch that when I was younger. Then I remember one time I was watching the movie, I was like, he's blowing Brad. So I thought that was great. But yeah, there's a lot of little things in this flick that's just, it's awesome. It's a great watch. As it being picked up as a cult classic, like, I feel like that was like a bullet from Blue Sky for this movie, because you gotta admit, it's very niche. Like, it's something that you either get or you don't. I mean, the songs are catchy, but like, for someone to sit and watch the movie...
From what I was seeing, there's like theaters that are playing it like every night, and you have the same people going. That's like, what do they do on Saturday? They go watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's any movie I could watch that much.
Well, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. If you asked me, if I had never seen it and you asked me to watch the movie now, I think I would say that I liked it for Tim Curry, because he's just awesome in it. But I don't know if it would have had the same impact on me now that it did back then. Because when I was a 12-year-old kid watching this movie, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, I didn't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true too. I mean, that's one of the first instances of alternate sexualities on screen. Whereas now, like RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff like that, it's just on TV.
It's all on the forefront.
And just people talk about it like, oh yeah, here's the thing, and it's super common at this point in time. Maybe not super common, but it's definitely not niche like it used to be.
Well, like, none of it is being played as like it's none of it's taboo anymore. Like, it's all out there and it's all out in the open, and I'm super happy for that, because there are so many people who live lives and that are miserable.
Yeah, been super repressed and just unhappy.
Yeah.
And I think seeing this on the screen at that point in time is bringing to the forefront something that they've never really been able to explore about themselves.
Agreed. And I
And I
couldn't
think,
agree more.
And I think that is what drew people to it, because it's not the plot.
No, God, no.
It's the music and just the hanging around with like-minded folk, throwing bread at a movie screen.
Plus, I mean, I think also the overarching plot of the movie is Jane and John fucking America break down outside of a fucking house. That their lifestyle in there is so crazy it blows their mind.
And they'll never be the same.
Yeah, and they'll never be the same, although when they made Shock Treatment, they were basically the same. So, and that's probably at one point going to ask you to watch it, because like there's good music in that one too.
That one I didn't even know there was another movie after this one. Another show or whatever you want to call it.
There's a lot of people who don't know that. The only reason I know that is the guy who introduced me to Rocky was like, watch this movie and tell me what you think. And I watched it and I was like, I don't know what to think. And he's like, watch it again. So I watched it again and was like, music good? And he was like, what do you think about like the plot? And I was like,
what plot?
I was like, yeah, it's trying to say that it's basically like an old school B horror movie, but it's not at all. There's nothing scary about it. And it's all very ham-fisted in its attempts to be scary.
Yeah, at one point in time, Frankenfurter murders a man, and then people are like, oh my god, and then like, all right. Then they forget about it till the dinner scene. It's like, Eddie always was a tender boy.
Yeah, I mean, he goes in there with, he follows him with the fucking, was it like, it wasn't...
A little pickaxe sort of thing. It was like a hammer axe or something.
And you hear him murdering him.
Yeah.
And then everyone's just like...
Columbia screaming as he's getting murdered, because apparently she loves him.
But, I mean, yeah, it was a neat turn to, like, just be like, yeah, he was a tender boy. Seconds and he won. And then she figures it out and she's like... I thought that part was actually fairly amusing. But, yeah, to say the movie is, like, some kind of crazy, like, amazing... like production value heavy fucking film. No, not even a little bit. The music in the thing, people would be tapping their toes to those tunes for fucking decades and decades to come. And if you're watching this right now and you're like, man, fuck you, Rocky Horror Picture is amazing. Name me 2 other movies that Richard O'Brien did. And I'm not even asking for like what he directed. I'm just talking about stuff he acted in. A lot of people would be able to do it because Richard Bryan has had quite a successful career in Hollywood. There's one movie that my wife loves watching. It's the Drew Barrymore Cinderella movie.
Enchanted? No.
It's not Enchanted. Maybe Ever After or something like that. But it's got Drew Barrymore and Richard O'Brien's in it. And like the first time I watched that movie, I was like, holy fuck, it's Riff Raff. And she was like, yeah, he's like the bad guy in this. He's like really great. And I was like, yeah, because he's got super deep voice. Like he can be a creepy guy. But yeah, it's one of those movies that, I mean, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
In the first 20 minutes of watching the movie, you're like, fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the way it is. Like, you don't get halfway through the movie and you're like, do I like this movie or is it?
It's pretty. The opening song started on the fucking lips, and I don't like staring at people's mouths, and it's front and center. Like, look at this person's lips. I'm like, and then the song, I just wasn't really. I didn't really like the science fiction double feature all that much.
Michael Rennie was ill the day the earth stood still.
I like the chorus, but the rest of it, I'm kind of like, whatever.
Oh. Science fiction. Yeah, it's a good song. Like, I like all the music in it. The only song that I don't like is the sort of Damocles, and I'm trying to think if there's like another one that I really, really don't like. But honestly, I like all the music in it.
I think I might have actually heard Touch. Was it Touch a Touch Me before?
So that's another one I'm not crazy about.
I think it's one I'd actually heard before.
But I like the song itself. I'm not crazy about Touch Me, but like I like the parts where Magenta and Columbia are basically doing a bad Janet. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. I want to be dirty. Like, I love that. Thrill me, chill me, so feel me. Like, creature of the night. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that song either.
Science fiction double feature.
Awesome.
Damn it, Janet.
Awesome.
Was it that song at the wedding?
The road was long, but I ran it. There's a fire in my heart, and you fan it. Yes.
Over at Frankenstein Place.
That's a good one.
I don't think I even know that one either.
That's the There's a light over at the Frankenstein place. It's Janet and Brad walking through the storm, and they see the Frankenfurter house for the first time.
Time Warp.
That's a great song.
I like that one. Sweet Transvestite.
Awesome song.
I Can Make You a Man.
I like that song.
Hot Patootie, Bless My Soul.
That's
that's my second favorite one.
I'm not crazy about that song, but I do like it because
I like Time Warp the most, just because it had an unfair lead because I already knew that one.
Yeah.
And then Hot Patootie is like the only other one where I'm like still kind of.
It's not my favorite song, but it's a good one.
I Can Make You a Man reprise.
Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me. I'm not great. I'm not big on that one. Eddie, I like that one.
I don't know if I remember.
On the day he was born, he was trouble. It's the song that Dr. Scott sang.
Rose Tint My World.
Rose Tint My World, keep me safe from my trouble and pain. That's the song they sang. Oh, wild and untamed thing. I'll be with a deadly sting. It's the song they sang by the poolside.
Yeah,
when everyone's in drag.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm Going Home.
That's a great one.
Superheroes.
That's the one that I had not seen for years and years until they put it back in.
So I watched this one on Amazon, and Superheroes was not in it.
Right.
So I had to watch it on YouTube or whatever, just to kind of like. I think he even said like, when you watch this one, I don't think it's going to be here. Just look it up on YouTube afterwards, and you'll know where it goes in the movie. And in fact, you will, because there's the house taking off. I'm like, okay, the house was a rocket ship.
The ship house.
Again, nonsense. But whatever. The story's nonsense. Okay,
Yes.
Whatever. That's not the point.
He kills Frankenfurter with a candelabra. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's fucking whatever.
It's bad.
The story's whatever. And then a reprise for science fiction double feature.
Yeah, that was the slow version.
A remix 1989 extended version of the Time Warp.
I think that was the instrumental.
I think these might be after the fact. Maybe the Time Warp music one background track mix. I think it's just mixes of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that is the original thing of it. So I mean, there's 2 songs in here that I like, and a couple that I'm like okay with. But I think there's only going to be like the 2 songs that I revisit.
And there's 2 songs I don't like. So did they even have Sword of Damocles on there?
They don't seem to have that one on here.
Wait.
Unless it's in I Can Make a Man reprise, maybe. But I guess it's only got Tim Curry in that one. I don't know.
Okay, see, that's weird because I felt certain that would have, unless, okay, if you know where that song went in this fucking lineup, or maybe they just didn't add it in the soundtrack because they fucking hated it.
Or maybe was it only like a couple lines long and not it was a whole song?
It's a whole song.
Was it in Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me?
No, so I'll sing a few bars and you'll know exactly what it is. It's when he comes out of the pit for the first time and he does a sword of Damocles is hanging over my head, and I get the feeling someone's going to be cutting the thread. Oh, woe is me, my life is a misery, and all I see is that I'm at the start of a pretty big downer. I hate the song, but I know the words. But it's sung by the little blonde guy who plays Rocky, and it's fucking terrible.
I don't know. It's
okay. I kind of want to know that trivia now, but I don't. I'm not going to look it up.
Is it possible that it was in the extended version?
No, it was.
Okay.
It was in the initial movie that I watched when I was 12.
I just don't fucking remember it.
Yeah, it's definitely there. But they probably just didn't put it on the soundtrack because it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And then Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me. I've never been crazy about that song. Like the beginning of it is okay, but like Janet is so innocent that I just want to punch her in the fucking head. Because like your apple pie don't taste too nice. You better wise up, Janet Weiss. That part of the song.
I don't know. So I think one of the reasons I don't listen to a lot of musicals and stuff like that is generally when people start singing, I just tune out. If it sounds like someone is reading me poetry, I tune out. And songs are musical poetry.
Yeah.
So I just, and I don't know if there's any one particular reason. For a long time when I was younger, I tended to listen to music that did not have English lyrics. So it was never about what the lyrics said to me was important. So I just never really paid much attention to lyrics. So if you're giving me story in the lyrics, unless you are super enunciated and clear, I'm probably not listening to them.
Honestly, I can get with you on that, because for me it's like about the beat, the song, like the way the words flow, like
It's the way you sing it, like the emotion in it.
yeah. I've always had a problem. I don't know if it's just a thing with my brain or something like that, but I've always had a problem that a lot of songs that when they're singing it, I'm not picking up on exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it's only whenever I go back and like read lyrics where I'm just like, okay, because like my favorite song, one of my favorite songs in the world is "Plush" by Stone Temple Pilots.
Okay.
And like the words of that song are fucking weird. But it's another one of those where it's basically poetry where you can interpret the song from like 500 different ways, and Scott Weiland is not saying what it was, but like the song is fucking weird, and most people seem to think it's a song about a guy killing people and hiding bodies. I don't know.
I'd have to hear it.
I'll play it for you freely
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. That's again. It's like, why aren't they putting the music on this thing? The music is gonna get your channels shut down so fucking fast.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Which I mean, it really, if you want, if in a review about Rocky Horror, I think the music's the thing. And if you're not sure about the movie, which I think anyone who would click on this thing is probably sure about them. I don't know why anyone would click on this and be like, Rocky Horror Picture Show, what's that? I know Nick and Lance, but I never heard of this thing before. I mean, so you know, and the music is what's the good part. But if for some reason you're like, man, I think I might want to watch this movie, listen to the soundtrack. And then if you like the soundtrack, then watch the movie.
So here it is right here. So Sword of Damocles song and lyrics on Spotify. So it's
Okay.
It's there.
Maybe it's just not on the one I looked at for some reason.
Yeah, I kind of want to know why it's not in there, but I think if you hear the song, you're like, man, I know it's not why it's not there, because it's not good. It's not good.
And it looks like that was a different maybe a different album. I don't remember. I don't know. Albums more.
So
The original single album. Time Warp, Janet, Touch, science fiction double feature, Eddie's Teddy, Hop It To, Bless My Soul, I'm Going Home.
Yep, no, it's not there.
Sweet. Yeah, it's not there either.
So it could be the fact of, I think the guy that sings the song, maybe he was just like, nope, I don't want to do this. Don't put me on it, because I know that he's not a singer. He was just there to be a looker.
He's not an actor either, right?
Yeah, no,
I read on IMDb that he owns like a not Artifact. What's the antique shop or something like that?
That sounds right.
And people come in and he's not super. He's kind of embarrassed that he was in it, but he's not like, don't fucking talk about it.
So
he's not super aggro about it, but he's just not like man, look at me, I was Rocky, because I mean he's half nude the entire thing, listening.
Get it out of your system. Okay, buy some antiques for me.
That's not me.
I guarantee you, him being in that movie has probably sold him quite a few fucking antiques from his shop. Because if I knew where it was, I'd stop in too, just to be like, hey man, you grunted the hell out of that movie. So
it's not like his character wasn't supposed to be like super articulate.
No,
he was a made man.
Yes. Yeah, he was just there to be a sex robot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with a long conversation of this movie.
But again, I don't know that there's a whole lot to say about it per se, because generally we talk about like what the plot is, what the plot means to us. There's not, the plot's nonsense.
The plot to this movie are two kids get stranded outside of a fucking mansion.
And the place is wacky.
And the place is wacky, and the guy inside is
apparently an alien.
He's an alien from transsexual Transylvania. And you find out that Riff Raff and Magenta are also that Columbia was a human that got caught underneath Frankenfurter's wily and crazy ways, and
apparently it sounded like Eddie was meant to be. At first, when Eddie came out, I'm like, oh, did he make him too, or something like this? Because he had like a cut across his forehead, and
I think he altered him.
But he like did shit to him, I guess, and was going to try to make him fit for him. But
he was the first experiment.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out. So
So he froze him, and then apparently when he comes out again, he's like, "Nah, fuck this," and murdered him. I don't. What the fuck's going on here?
well, he does a whole song, and he's not that he took Frankenfurter's spotlight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. After the whole Rocky thing.
here come the clicks.
Are we gonna get the Harley?
Here come the clicks. But
Meow, meow, meow.
yeah, it's
Look, our views just went up.
yay!
Kitty cat.
The internet loves kitties. I want a kiss. Can I have a kiss? No. Nick's distracting you with good
She's
scratches.
getting scratches.
Yeah, orange kitty. Mm. Orange kitty. Sorry, we have to take a kitty break.
And that's gonna get knocked over.
Yeah, most likely. But yeah, it's. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you with a long.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, if you're still here, the best part about going to go and see the movie, like just go see it in the theater with like people that are
groups of
acting
people.
it out.
Which I don't know if I would enjoy per se, because I don't like groups of people.
Yeah, I mean it's just
I don't like loud noises, people yelling shit near me.
yeah. I mean well.
Overly rambunctious people tend to put me in my shell more.
So it's less about the people that are acting it out and more about the people in the audience that are like doing the participation beats. Like whenever I went to go see The Room with Daniel and Tim, it's like I was like, this movie's gonna be terrible and I'm not gonna have fun. And then
It's not about the movie.
and there were a group of guys in there that knew like all of the fucking like callbacks and beats, and those dudes made that movie super fun. If they wouldn't have been there, I'd probably been like, what the fuck did y'all just make me sit through? But yeah, it's I would say go see it if you like the music. It's an experience seeing it in the theater with people like running around, acting it out.
Which maybe I do it once, but I suspect that would be
Let's go next weekend.
to a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Sure.
Not
Well,
next.
actually, you know what? Cinnabar is closed, so I don't know where it would be. I bet they would have it at the one over by John's Island Terrace.
It sounds like I'd have to leave the house too, which would be very annoying.
Well, we could do our live version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show review.
We do another one.
Yeah, why not?
I don't have that outfit.
I'm kidding. I also don't think that. Well, you don't have to be in it. You don't have to be in it. But the one time I did go, I had a good time. I also don't like it when people are like touching me in the audience and stuff like that. I'm not big on that either.
Yeah.
But
Strangers touching me is a big no.
But it was fun going and experiencing it one time in the theater. But going by yourself, like that was also just kind of like meh.
So it would be a thing I might do once to experience it, but like, am I ever going to watch this movie again? Like just on my own? Probably not. Will I listen to some of the music again? Yeah, probably. But I can do that like via just a music app. I don't need to watch the movie again.
I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I might ask you to watch Shock Treatment.
Yeah, maybe. That's one we could put in the back burner.
Well, it's got Rick Mayall is, right?
No.
You don't know? You ever see Drop Dead Fred?
Maybe.
You ever see the show The Young Ones?
No.
He's been in a lot of stuff, but anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyways,
it's as we found out, I've not seen a lot of things.
Yes.
And Lance has seen many things, so I have to go. His picks can be pretty broad. Mine are fucking weird.
And together we make an interesting channel. So,
Which I guess, speaking of my picks,
yeah.
Or is there anything else you want to say about Rocky Horror before?
Not really. It's just if you like Tim Curry, he's fucking amazing.
He was the best part of it.
All the characters are great.
And
Magenta, I love Magenta. Patricia Quinn, you're lucky, I'm lucky, we're all lucky. I love that fucking line. She's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Brad and Janet are great characters, but that's not the point of them either.
Yeah, no.
They're the normal people with all this crazy shit going on around them.
Yeah, they're there to play straight lace. They're
there to be the every man and every woman.
The corruptible.
Yeah.
The corruptible Utes. But yeah, if you like Tim Curry, if you like decent music that'll basically they're pretty good knee slappers.
Mm-hmm. Knee slappers, you mean toe tappers?
Yes.
Knee slappers a joke.
Oh.
Slap that old knee.
Sorry, my bad. No, if you want toe tapper, my bad.
And maybe a few knee slappers. Like when he murdered that man. For no reason.
Yeah, it's a good flick. It's a fun movie. If you get to watch the superheroes ending, so I want to just touch on that just ever so
Sure.
briefly. The reason I said that Marvel might sue us is because, and I don't know if this is 100% true, this is the way it was told to me, is that in the original production of Rocky Horror, they had a song called Superheroes. That the movie didn't make a lot of money, and I think Marvel offered to buy the tune from Rocky Horror to use in the Incredible Hulk TV show that had Lou Ferrigno and
Yeah, the little piano thing.
yes,
The close. Is it closing?
where you see like David Banner like fucking hitchhiking. They bought the song to use in that, and then Rocky Horror got cult status. Came back on VHS, and I think the first time they put it on a VHS, basically they got slapped down by litigation real fast, saying you sold that song to us, you can't use that anymore. And I think it was on the 20, and this is the thing that makes it stand out in my head, on the 25th anniversary of that movie. God, how old is that movie now? It's crazy. The 25th anniversary.
70. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh no, the 25th anniversary of that movie. I think it was still VHS. Where the VHS of that movie came out, and I remember it. I think it was a red VHS, and like that was not something you saw a lot back then. But I remember that VHS was $100, $100 for the 25th anniversary of the fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I remember they had one of the VHS cracked open with like this tape slid out of it, and it was like, ooh, candy apple red. When was it made?
75, so it's 42
Right.
years old?
No.
25 would be 2000.
It was 70. It
So,
was,
tw-
so I was born in 74, and I'm 48. So so it's 47.
well, okay, 47.
So yeah, the 25th anniversary of that was 75, 85,
2000. It was the 25th. I know.
95, so 2000, yeah. And in 2000 I was...
Well, 2000 plus 22, or 25 plus 22 is 47.
Right.
So 47 years old now.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it was nuts because I remember seeing a VHS tape for $100 and I was like, who the fuck
Has $100.
has $100 for a piece of plastic with fucking magnetic tape in it?
Who the hell has $100 for a piece of plastic?
I did not pay $100
I know
for
it.
that. You could see clearly right there on the bottom.
Well, clearly. Look, $20.
Yep. I spent $20 on that, and now it's probably worth $5.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anyways, no, I'm not gonna drag this on, even though we probably went 20 minutes longer than you thought we were going to. It's fun. It's fun. If you have any people in your family that have weird fucking hangups about alternate lifestyles, they'll probably look at you weird for watching this movie. I know that when I watched it initially, I think my brother caught me watching it one time. He was like, "What the fuck are you watching this?" And I was like, "It's something to watch." And I had to basically talk myself out of a beating. But yeah, it's just a fun movie. The reason I wanted you to watch it is just because it's one of those ones that it still lives in like recent memory. Because
It's 47 years later, people are still dressing up and
yeah,
going to watch it, tossing toast at the movie screen.
it has staying power.
Yeah.
Now, do I think the movie would have been as big as it was without Tim Curry? Probably not. Because he's amazing as Frankenfurter. All the other characters in the movie are great. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think he made it legendary. Because the man is I don't care, where you stand on this, but the man is he's an icon, and he's a treasure.
And he was also in Gargoyles.
Wait. Oh wait, let me figure that out.
Yeah, who is trivia? Who was Tim Curry?
Was he
in the
doing
Gargoyles?
Tim Curry voice?
Yeah. He kind of sounded a bit like Tim Curry. He was doing the Tim Curry thing.
Not Puck, not Gilkingane.
No.
I would say
Do you want a hint?
yes.
He made Talon. And the other mutates, whatever they were called.
So he's a scientist? I don't know.
Do you remember Dr. Severius?
I don't.
Ooh, he was started out as kind of like infirm, and he like made the mutates, and he was Xanatos' like personal scientist making his weird shit, and Goliath accidentally kicked him into a thing of electric eels, and he died, but it was a fake death, and he comes back later, and he's just Dr. Severius.
Did he make
He's also the guy that was like after Nessie. He was in that episode.
Did he make Thalog?
Yes, he did make Thalog.
Okay.
Because Xanatos wanted a clone of Goliath that he could control.
Mm-hmm.
So they got DNA from Goliath, and they made Thalog. But when he was growing up, they put I was going to say like headphone, but essentially they had him indoctrinated with kind of stuff growing up, and he ended up with the intellect of Xanatos but the strength of Goliath.
Hmm.
And he even Thalog even got money out of Severius and Xanatos by like pretending to be kidnapped, and then Xanatos came up and even had like the talk between Xanatos and Severius being like, "Oh, is this how we're playing it?" Like, "Oh no, don't beat me up. Here's your money."
Honestly, I don't remember any of that. Like the only reason I remember Thalog is
he was silly. But...
So my favorite character in Gargoyles is Lexington. I love Lexington.
Okay.
Because I just think he's adorable.
Yep.
And then they made recently the Gargoyles toys, and they of course started out with Goliath, and I was like, oh, Goliath, okay. And I was looking at the figure, I was like, this is a cool fucking figure, and I bought it. And then they were like, Damona's next, and then we're gonna have Broadway and Bronx and Brooklyn.
I think Xanatos is coming up.
So Xanatos is not out yet, but like they were talking about Damona was going to be the next release, and I fucking love Damona, and I know you do too. So
too bad I'm not. I like my dangerous ladies.
Yes. But like they were supposed to release Damona, and then a couple of months later they released Thalog, which is basically a recolored.
It's just a recolor
Goliath. And like I remember I was so bummed about that because I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I was like, "Talk about the cash grab of cash grabs. This line just came out, and you're already giving me a repaint." And then I went back and watched, and it was like, "Oh, okay, he was in the show."
Yeah.
So I didn't remember that.
They had clones of the other ones too. I can't remember all their names. Like Hollywood. They were named after like California locations instead of New York locations. Oh. I don't remember all their names.
So they only got really imaginative with Goliath, and it's like, let's spell his name backwards since he's reverse Goliath. Yep. Well, if he's going to be reverse Goliath, he'd be strong and weak but brilliant. And, instead of a tactician, he was like, brilliant and like other stuff. Like, it's lazy.
It's whatever. But it's also a 90s TV show. Of course, there's clones.
That's true.
And they had other clones, and they even had an Elisa Damona hybrid clone named Delilah.
I remember. Wasn't that like Goliath's kid or something like that? Or he adopted her?
No, that was Angela.
Got it.
And that is Damona and Goliath's kid. Okay. But it's, one day we'll talk about, like, when we talk about gargoyle shit, I know my gargoyle shit.
So there would have been one point in time when I would have known quite a bit on it too, but it's like... Also
I watched it this year, so that helps a little bit.
Well, I watched it way back in the day, but like I remember like Gilkingane, I remember Puck, I remember, that Puck was basically Xanatos' butler.
And do you remember who played Puck?
He has a very monotone voice.
That is Owen. Owen and Puck have different voice actors.
Wait, was it Brent Spiner?
It is.
Oh, okay. Because I was listening to his voice in my head, and I was like, it's got to be Brent Spiner, and I know they were big about getting people from Star Trek.
When he's in his, like, I think that guy's name's Owen, if I remember right. When he's in his Owen persona, he's not one of the Star Trek guys. It's a different voice actor, but when he comes out as Puck, he's got that Brent Spiner sort of playful voice.
Okay,
which the best episode of that show to me has Puck in it.
We're not even going to ask. We're just going to do a fucking episode by episode fucking review of.
It's a matter of time. I would absolutely.
I'm down.
It's a matter of time because if we're doing that shit, we're not doing other shit.
I mean, eventually we'll get enough of these in the bank.
Well, we always have our. So our first episode of the month is our heavy scene. Mm-hmm. Our second episode of the month is old school versus new school. Mm-hmm. Our third episode of the month is Does It Suck, our vampire one. And our fourth episode of the month is just kind of like whatever. That could easily become a Gargoyles thing. But that also could easily become the other thing you talked about, where Race to the Bottom, where we watch shit movies and try to like order them as we got discussions.
So
But for now, the fourth is just whatever.
So if this is something you'd like to see,
I think you talked about it, but
so I think I talked about you after the recordings just to gauge what you would think. But like basically, we were thinking about sitting down and watching all of Uwe Boll's movie catalog
and ranking them
and ranking them to find out what in fact is the worst movie that Uwe Boll has done. Because I think it came up with Street Fighter, where it's like people hate that movie, but I actually like it.
I think we talked about this in the Monsters review.
I think so. Like it's just Street Fighter was fun. When the fucking truck was heading to the gate and it was on fire or whatever, and Zenki was like, "Turn the channel." It's just fun.
So I mean, we always have that fourth slot, and then we just throw out holiday specials whenever. If they would take up the fourth slot, that's another video. Like for Halloween, we had our Halloween special was on a Monday. It's like great, just throw it up on a Monday, and to kind of fill in certain things because time's limited.
That's true.
But if we decided that once a month we sit down and watch like 3 episodes and just sit down and talk about them,
I'm down. I mean, I'm down. Like Gargoyles is one of those shows that has like I remember Clancy Brown's in it.
he does like 2 voices, I think.
Well, he's like one of the people in the pack.
He's Wolf, and he is Haken.
Haken. That's right. Oh man, and I always had problems like telling the difference between Haken and Gilkingane for a long time because they're basically the same character.
Haken dies like early on, and then Gilkingane comes in during the Macbeth arc.
Oh well, hold on. It was Gilkingane and Macbeth.
Okay, Gilkingane and Macbeth. Okay.
So like they seem like they're like the same kind of character at least.
Well, I think Gilkingane is that the cousin of Macbeth? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but like I remember watching it at one point and I was kind of like, these characters are kind of the same. At one point I thought that they might have been the same person. But he was coming out as like Owen became Puck and it was like Macbeth became Gilkingane. I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
No, it's the Gilkingane was the hunter.
Okay.
And he put on the thing with the 3 slashes. And then other people have worn that down the line, Gilkingane's line. And the only time, like Macbeth has worn it like once or whatever to get on Damona's nerves.
Got it.
And it wasn't, she's like, the hunter, I thought I killed you. And then like she kicks him and then she hurts too. And she's like, oh, it's you.
Okay. See, I don't remember. Like everything I'm telling you about from Gargoyles is coming from my mind's eye from back in the day.
Yeah. And I watched that this year. I think like back in February. So it's been almost a year since I've watched them. I watched them all, and I miss episodic TV.
Did they ever resolve the Illuminati stuff? Or did they just kind of glaze over it?
No, it's there. It's there in a couple places. I don't know if that's ever fully resolved, but they definitely get to the point. Like Bluestone joins the Illuminati at one point or whatever, and you have the Death House or whatever where they pull Goliath into, and dude ends up getting stuck in Death House.
They like their stones in that show, don't they?
Yeah, Detective Bluestone,
Coldstone,
Nightstone.
They like they like the creameries. Coldstone. I want ice cream now.
Yeah, it's also a wharf.
But we're not talking about Gargoyles.
Look, we got another 12 minutes. I bet Amber doesn't give a shit.
No. So, all right. Well, we're going to end it at that.
Well, no, we need to end at. Hey, Lance, have you ever seen Double Jeopardy?
Hold on. I would recommend people go see Rocky Horror. Would you?
At least once.
Yeah. Okay. Are you talking about the Alex Trebek?
No. So there's a movie with Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee Jones. I don't think it was ever super popular.
Okay.
But it's one that is in my library. Take that what you will, because I have movies that I don't like and movies that I do like.
Oh shit! Are the gloves coming off? Maybe. Okay. No, I don't think I've seen it.
All right. So I guess next month, if you could track down a copy of I didn't even check to see if it was streaming anywhere.
It doesn't matter. I'll find it.
Oh, I have it on DVD. I mean, for the people. Can they have a?
You're not gonna watch it.
Hey, they might watch Double Jeopardy. Double Jeopardy. HBO Max with a subscription.
Wow.
All right. So that means it should be accessible to people who want to watch Double Jeopardy along with us.
For the most part. Get HBO Max.
Yeah, it's more accessible than some of the other ones.
HBO Max, give us free subscriptions.
First, it's like AMC Plus. I'm like, who's subscribing to AMC Plus?
That's true. A lot of people who want to go back and watch old episodes of Comic Book Men and Breaking Bad.
Isn't Breaking Bad on other things?
I think it's mainly on AMC.
No, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right, so next month, Double Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
And join us next week for old school versus new school.
We want to tell them what we're going to do?
Not yet.
No?
Or should we give them a week because the movie might be harder to track down?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Because we're going to do Old Boy, the Korean film, and then the remake that's on Netflix. The Korean one, I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. I went to Amazon, and it's kind of like, maybe here's one. Then you go down to the comments, people are like, this is a bootleg. I'm like, all right, well, because I was going to order it ahead of time, but I guess we'll have to find other means in which to find it. So at least you can track down the new one on Netflix.
So what you're saying is by the time that we get to this review, it might just be called New School and Only the New School because we couldn't find the old school?
If for some reason we can't find it, because we're going to watch it next week.
Okay. All right, well, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, if the next week's episode is not Old Boy, then that means we couldn't find it.
Ruh-roh. Hey, I was going to offer this, but I feel like we shouldn't do it at this point. I was going to see if you want to do an old school versus new school for Rocky Horror.
Was there a new one? Or do you mean like one of the stage shows?
So the stage show that came out that they ran live.
Okay, old school. The old is cool.
Okay, there you go.
I watched one of the songs. I watched the Hot Patootie one that was on the stage show, and I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
So
It's not good. I was just going to put it out there just
and when it's the song is worse, they made the song worse, and the songs are the part of the show I like.
Yeah. No,
I don't think the rest of it's gonna hold up to me.
The only thing they did that I really liked in that when the newer version was they made they gave Tim Gray a part, and they gave him Charles Gray's part as
the narrator or whatever it was.
As the whatever.
Yeah.
So, but
they called him the criminologist.
yeah, the criminologist.
Yeah.
So, you want to go ahead and end this one out then?
Yeah, let's do it. 57 minutes is good.
Yeah.
And you just got a little bit of gargoyles in there.
Yeah, just a touch.
Hey,
so.
Tim Curry's in gargoyles. It counts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, yes. So.
All right, join us next week and join us next month for Double Jeopardy.
And so you said it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
All right. So somewhere out in space, some insects called the human race, lost in time, lost in space, and meaning. Meaning. Bye.